You're lying in bed, lights off, silence. And just when you're about to drift away, someone whispers your name. You open your eyes, but no one's there. Don't freak out, not too much. You're not haunted. What you're experiencing is something called the hypnagogic state, that strange borderland where your brain starts dreaming before you're actually asleep. In this twilight zone of consciousness, reality gets creative. You might hear voices, see shadows, or feel like something's sitting on your chest. And no, it's not a ghost, just your nervous system having a little meltdown. So tonight, grab your blanket, dim the lights, and maybe keep one eye open because we're counting down 9 creepy hallucinations people experience right before falling asleep. Sweet dreams if you can. Number 9, the phantom voice. You're half asleep, drifting into that cozy blur between dreams and consciousness, when suddenly someone whispers your name, clear as day, familiar, maybe your mom's voice, maybe your best friend's. You open your eyes, heart racing, but the room is empty. Creepy, absolutely, but here's the science behind the scare. This strange moment happens in what's called the hypnagogic state, the grey area between waking and sleeping. Your brain hasn't fully powered down yet, it's still producing alpha waves, the same ones you use when daydreaming. That means parts of your sensory system are on, while others are off. The result: your brain starts misfiring, mixing imagination with reality. When that happens, your auditory cortex, the part of your brain that processes sound, can replay fragments of memory or internal echoes, and because your mind loves patterns, it often uses the most emotionally recognizable sound it knows, your own name, spoken by someone familiar. It's your brain saying, "Hey, are you still awake in the creepiest way possible?" Psychologists call it a hypnagogic auditory hallucination, and it's surprisingly common. Surveys show that up to 35% of people have heard their name, a knock on the door, or a faint hello while falling asleep. And here's the twist: stress, exhaustion, or sleeping in total silence can make it worse. The quieter your surroundings, the louder your brain gets. So the next time you hear that ghostly whisper just as you're nodding off, don't panic. It's not a spirit trying to talk to you. It's your own brain, bored out of its mind, calling your name just to remind you who's really in control. Sweet dreams, or at least try. Number 8, the shadow figures. You're lying there, eyes half shut, about to drift off. The room is quiet. Then out of the corner of your eye you see it, a dark figure, standing still, maybe by the door, maybe at the edge of your bed. Your heart pounds, you blink, it's gone. This is one of the most classic hypnagogic experiences, shadow figures. It feels like someone is in the room, silently watching you. Sometimes it's just a shape, sometimes you swear you see a face or a full silhouette. People who've experienced it say it's the creepiest non-dream they've ever had because you're still awake enough to feel sure it's real. Here's what's happening as you slip into the hypnagogic state. The part of your brain responsible for recognizing faces and human forms, the fusiform gyrus, is still active. It's literally wired to detect patterns that look like people. In low light and with your eyes relaxing, it starts filling in shadows and random shapes as human figures. Combine that with a slight rise in nighttime anxiety and your survival instincts kick in, telling you there's someone there. It's not a ghost, it's not a demon. It's your own brain running its facial recognition software with no real input. Think of it like your phone's camera trying to autofocus in the dark it guesses, and sometimes it guesses wrong. Stress, exhaustion, or sleeping alone can crank up the effect. The more tense you are, the more likely your brain is to conjure a presence as a kind of night watchman. So if you ever see a shadowy figure in your room as you're falling asleep, breathe. It's not an intruder, it's your brain, overprotective and over-imaginative, playing tricks on you before you dream. Number 7, the falling sensation. You're drifting off, finally relaxed, eyes closing, then suddenly boom, you jolt awake like you've just fallen off a cliff, heart racing, limbs twitching, and for a split second, you swear you were actually falling. That's the hypnic jerk, one of the strangest and most common pre-sleep phenomena. It's a full-body twitch that happens when your brain starts to slip into sleep, but your body hasn't fully gotten the memo yet. Essentially, your brain and muscles are out of sync. Here's the science: when you're entering light sleep, your brain waves slow down and your muscles start to relax. But sometimes, the brain misinterprets that relaxation as falling. To save you, it sends a burst of electrical activity down your nerves, jerking your body awake. It's the same reflex that would have saved our ancestors if they were dozing in trees. This is why it often feels like tripping, dropping off a ledge, or missing a step, and it's usually more intense when you're stressed, sleep deprived, or consuming caffeine, because your nervous system is on edge. Creepy part. For a brief moment, your body experiences a shock of panic, adrenaline surges, your heart skips, and your brain thinks you just dodged death. Then you realize you're safe, in bed, feeling slightly ridiculous. So next time you fall in your sleep, don't panic. It's not your soul leaving your body, just your brain doing a safety check before shutting down for the night. Number 6, the electric buzz. You're half asleep when it hits a sudden bzzz in your ears, like a power line buzzing inside your skull. No phone vibrating, no machine running, just this eerie electric hum that seems to come from inside you. This is what some scientists call an internal auditory hallucination, or more simply, the electric buzz phenomenon. It often appears during the hypnagogic state, that strange in-between phase when you're not fully awake, not fully asleep. Here's what's happening as your body relaxes. The sympathetic nervous system, the part that keeps you alert, starts to power down, but sometimes it doesn't do it evenly. Nerve signals misfire, and your auditory cortex, the part of your brain that processes sound, interprets those erratic impulses as a noise. Result a phantom bzzz, hum, or even a deep rumbling that feels disturbingly real. Some people describe it like a transformer humming, others say it's like a plane taking off in their head. It can last a few seconds, or long enough to make you question your sanity. Creepy part. The buzz sometimes comes right before sleep paralysis, as if your brain's power system is glitching while shutting down. You can't move, but you can hear the electric storm raging in your skull. So know your room isn't haunted and your ears aren't broken. That electric buzz is just your nervous system, trying to turn itself off and making noise in the process. Number 5, the pressure on your chest. You wake up in the dark. You're aware of your room, you're breathing, the clock ticking, but something's wrong. Your chest feels like it's pinned under a weight, and no matter how hard you try, you can't move a single muscle. It's as if an invisible force is holding you down. This terrifying state is called sleep paralysis. It happens when your mind wakes up before your body does. During REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreams occur, your brain locks your muscles to keep you from acting out your dreams. Normally, that paralysis ends the moment you wake. But sometimes, the brain's wake-up signal arrives early, your consciousness comes back, but your muscles are still switched off. Result, you're awake, but paralyzed, and that crushing weight on your chest. It's not a demon or ghost, it's just your breathing muscles working harder while you're still in REM mode, because you can't move. The sensation of pressure feels amplified. For centuries, cultures all over the world describe this as a demon sitting on the chest, from the Mara in Scandinavian folklore to the Ap Mong in Vietnam. People often report sensing a presence in the room, a shadowy figure, a whisper, or a cold hand, because the brain, still half dreaming, fills the paralysis with hallucinations. The creepy part, you're fully aware, eyes open, but trapped inside a body that won't respond. The episode usually lasts seconds to a couple of minutes, but feels endless. Science now sees sleep paralysis as a harmless glitch in the REM system, but when it happens, it's easy to understand why our ancestors thought something supernatural was pressing down on them in the dark. Number 4, the bright flash. Just as you're about to drift off, a sudden burst of light flashes across your vision like someone snapped a photo in the dark. You open your eyes, but the room is still pitch black. No lamps, no lightning, no explanation. This eerie phenomenon is a hypnagogic light hallucination, a trick of the brain as it transitions between wakefulness and sleep. During this phase, your brainwaves shift from alpha awake to theta light sleep. In that fuzzy overlap, the visual cortex, the part of your brain that processes sight, can randomly fire, creating the illusion of bright flashes, floating orbs, or streaks of color. It's not your eyes playing tricks, it's your brain changing channels between reality and dreaming, because your eyelids are closed and your surroundings dark. Even the faintest internal signal feels blinding, like a camera flash going off in your mind. Some people report these flashes as gentle glows, while others describe explosive bursts of light followed by a jolt of fear, the brain's way of saying, "Wait, what was that?" Scientists call these phosphenes, and they're completely harmless. They can appear not only during sleep transitions, but also when rubbing your eyes or experiencing sudden drops in blood pressure. Still, in the quiet of the night, when you're half asleep and half aware, that flash feels unnervingly real, like the darkness itself just blinked. Number 3, the crawling sensation. You're lying still, eyes closed, drifting off, and suddenly, you feel it. Something's crawling, on your arm, on your leg, maybe across your neck. You freeze, heart pounding, convinced there's a bug in your bed, but when you turn on the light, nothing's there. This is a classic hypnagogic tactile hallucination, a creepy side effect of the brain and body desynchronizing during the transition to sleep. As your body relaxes, the nervous system begins to power down signals that normally coordinate touch and temperature become erratic. The result, your brain interprets random nerve activity as the feeling of movement on your skin. Scientists call this formication, from the Latin formica, meaning ant. It's the same phenomenon that makes people feel like insects are crawling under their skin during intense stress, fever, or withdrawal. During early sleep stages, your somatosensory system, which detects touch, can misfire because the brain is still semi-awake, aware enough to register sensations, but too drowsy to analyze them correctly. It fills in the blanks with the most logical explanations: something is crawling on me. Most people experience this at least once, especially when exhausted or anxious. It's harmless, but undeniably unnerving, because for those few seconds before you realize what's happening, your primal fear of unseen creatures takes full control. When it happens again, remember it's not a spider, it's just your brain, giving your nerves a little horror story of their own. Number 2, the whisper in the dark. You're half asleep, drifting in that strange twilight between dream and reality when you hear it. A whisper, soft, close, almost calling your name, or maybe the faint sound of footsteps in the hallway. You hold your breath, ears straining. Everything is silent again except your heartbeat. This eerie experience is called an auditory hypnagogic hallucination, when your brain, still partly awake, starts processing imagination as sound. During this transition, the auditory cortex, the part that interprets noise, stays active even though external sounds have faded. At the same time, the brain's internal imagination engine, the temporal lobe, begins generating dreamlike activity. The two overlap, creating the illusion of voices or distant noises that don't exist. Scientists say this is the mind's way of testing reality while slipping into dream mode. It's like your consciousness is tuning between two radio stations, one real, one imaginary, and catching fragments of both. What's creepy is how personal these whispers can feel. People often report hearing familiar tones: a friend, a parent, even their own voice, as if the brain replays old memories through its own speakers. There's no ghost in the room, just your brain, alone in the dark, talking to itself, and forgetting to tell you it's only pretending. Number 1, the presence. You're lying still, eyes closed, waiting for sleep. The room is silent, yet suddenly, you know someone is there. Not maybe, but definitely. You feel it on your skin, a weight in the air, a shape you can't see, standing just beyond your reach. This is called the felt presence phenomenon, one of the most common hypnagogic hallucinations. It's not a ghost sneaking into your room, it's your own brain misfiring. As you drift off, the fear circuitry in your amygdala becomes active, a leftover survival mechanism, while your self-awareness network in the parietal lobe starts to go offline. When these systems overlap, the brain creates a second person, a phantom presence, to explain your heightened alertness. Essentially, your nervous system is on red alert but has no real threat to tag, so it invents one. And because your senses are muted in that half-sleep state, the imagined figure feels terrifyingly real, like an invisible person breathing in the corner of your room. It's the brain's primitive alarm system saying, stay awake, something's near even when nothing is. That's why so many people swear they felt a watcher in the room just as they were falling asleep. Creepy? Absolutely. Paranormal? Nope, just your mind. In the dark, accidentally summoning company. Those creepy moments before sleep, the whispers, the shadows, the feeling that someone's there aren't signs of the supernatural. They're proof that your brain is weirdly creative when it starts shutting down for the night. Hypnagogic hallucinations are simply your mind blending reality and dreams, like a painter who forgot which canvas he was working on. Your brain dreams before you do, and sometimes it forgets to tell you. That's why the line between half awake and half terrified can get so blurry. So tonight, when you hear a faint voice or see a flicker in the dark, don't panic. It's not a ghost, it's just your brain saying goodnight in the creepiest way possible. Sleep tight.